There's a quote that goes, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And I like to think of this quote kind of, but not for people, for myself as a programmer. And honestly, for anything that I want to achieve in life, but especially for my large goal. I've got, in fact, let me share a little bit of my large goal, a bit of my vision, because that's what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be about vision. So my vision for Quasarcast actually goes beyond Quasarcast. So to begin with, I want to offer, I want to offer a way for people to learn Quasar from the ground up to at least an intermediate level for free. I want to have videos that give you an introduction to all of the components, and I've already got plans for this. I want you to be able to go to any page of the docs and be able to learn that part of the docs through one of my videos. That's part of my vision, but that's just the beginning. Then I'm going to have a subscription service, and I want to use that subscription service to funnel money back into Quasar to help make the framework stronger. So basically, I want to be able to sustain myself and help sustain Quasar in the future via subscriptions to quasarcast.com. And that's going to have more advanced content, so intermediate to advanced content, which will then be paid. So I'll have like getting started guides and introductions to all the components for free, but then more advanced content will be paid to help me to survive and also to help to grow the framework. So that's part of my vision, but it goes beyond that. Then what I want to do is take a step back and introduce people to Vue.js. So I want to start running Facebook ads to a course where I'm going to teach people Vue.js from the ground up. And through Vue.js, I want to introduce people to Quasar. So basically, it's going to be like a funnel where I say, hey, I'm going to help you learn Vue.js. It'll be a course. I don't know how much I'm going to charge for it, maybe like $97. But I'm going to put like a lot of effort into it and really make it the best Vue.js course on the planet. And then introduce people to Quasar through that course to help bring more people into our community and introduce more people into our community. And then when I've done that, I want to go back one step further and create a course that teaches people to program from the ground up for the web. And then I'll run ads to that, and that will lead people into learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so that I can teach people and show people my love and passion for programming from the ground up. People that have never learned to code before. You know, you've probably heard in my previous podcast how passionate I am about coding and how much I fell in love with it when I was younger. When I learned to code through the Games Factory. I want to be able to share that with people who have never coded in their life, and then teach them how to build websites, interactive websites. And then through that, I can introduce them to Vue and my Vue course. And then through that, I can introduce them to Quasar and my Quasarcast subscription. So my vision for Quasar goes way beyond just Quasar. It goes way back to teaching people how to code so that they can learn Vue, so that they can then come into Quasar. And that's the larger vision. So I'm going to start with Quasarcast, and I'll constantly be building Quasar videos because this is like the center of my passion. This framework is like my deepest desire. But to be able to bring people into Vue, which is kind of my sub-desire to that, and then JavaScript and HTML and CSS, which is kind of my sub-desire to all of this, would be awesome. And then also maybe like throwing a Laravel series in there, because I believe Laravel's an awesome framework that, it offers everything that you could possibly need for the back end, or at least that I've ever needed for the back end. So, a great way to run jobs, handle policies, handle event, an amazing event system. And I love the framework. I've already spoken about this at length in the past, so I'll leave it at that. But this is my vision, and this is what drives me. This is why I sit down at my computer and I build videos, and I'll sit there and work on building a beautiful project. Like at the moment, I'm working on the Getting Started guide. It took about a month just to build the to-do app because I kept reiterating on it, being like, okay, I need this code. I need this to be right so that people get introduced to Quasar the right way. And the reason that works is because I've got that vision that drives me, that drives the desire to edit things so that it's really smooth and that I don't waste people's time, so that they look at this video and go, wow, Quasar is an awesome framework. And I feel like that's a responsibility for me to be able to create that reaction of people, so they sit back after watching this series and go, holy crap, this is awesome. This is going to change my life. Like it's changed mine. And so that's why visions are so important. And just taking a step back, this comes back into how I got into coding in the first place. The reason I started coding, proper coding, not like just when I was doing the Games Factory back in the old days, was because I wanted to build a website that taught people music theory and oral. So being able to, there's this music language called solfa, and I wanted to teach people solfa. It's also called solfege, which is the music language that goes like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and they can use that to create different songs like do, mi, fa, mi, re, ti, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. I did a bit of stuff up there, but anyway, you can like improvise around this musical language, and then you can start converting things that you hear into solfa, and then you can like basically convert what you hear into the language of music. So like a song like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is like what is that? Do, so, la, so. I can then like hear these sounds and convert them into music that I can then write down using this language. So I thought that was so cool. And so I had this vision of a website that taught that would teach this musical language through online games. And that's how I learned to code. I wasn't learning to code because I was like, some person was telling me that I could get a good job out of it. Oh my gosh, you kidding me? No, I learned to code because I had a vision of a project. And so if you're just getting into coding now, gosh, I can barely breathe. I'm getting so excited about this because visions really get me riled up. If you're just learning how to code, and you don't have a vision for a project that you want to create, I would make that a priority number one. Come up with a really cool idea for an app or a project that you'd really like to see into fruition. Maybe it's just like somebody showed me the other day. What's his name? I can't remember his name for the moment. I'm going to open up Discord so I can quickly find his name. But he made this abacus app for his daughter, and he made it in a couple of days. And it's like this fully fledged abacus app, and it allows you to like learn it, and it's like got all these different methods you can do, and it generates like random questions and stuff like that. What's his name? I want to attribute him properly. Prashant. I hope I'm saying your name properly if you're listening to this, Prashant. But it was so cool. I went and saw his app, and it's like this amazing app that he built with Quasar because he had a vision for something he wanted to help his daughter with. And I'm not surprised. Like he said, apparently he built this in a couple of days. This does not surprise me at all because I know what it's like to have this powerful vision. You get it done when there is a vision because all of a sudden you're not writing code because you need to learn to code anymore. It is because you need to learn to code, but it's like, I have to learn how to code. I need to learn these patterns so I can produce this vision. And by the way, if your vision is large enough, in the previous podcast, I was talking about spaghetti code and how you can end up with code that coding yourself into a corner. That happens when you don't have a strong enough vision, because if you have a strong vision, then you care about your code moving forward. You're not going to write crappy code. You won't let that fly because you know that you have to go back into that code and consistently work on it in the future. You're thinking ahead. You're thinking, I want this project to be big. And if this project's going to be big, then I need to write code that allows it to scale. Or you might be thinking, I want to get a job where I can make a difference in the world with my code. And if I'm going to have a job that makes a difference with my code, I need to be able to do what my employer tells me to do, or I need to be able to fulfill a lot of the requirements of the business. But you can't fulfill those requirements unless you write code that is scalable and is going to work in the future. Otherwise, you'll code yourself into a corner, and if you really care about the future of the company you're working for, then you won't allow that to happen. You'll always want code that sets you up so that you can succeed because you've got that vision or you're attached to the company's vision. And this is why, by the way, if you're listening to this and you own a company, it is super important that you have a clear vision for that company and you share that vision on a regular basis. And you let people know. You say to them, hey, your code is helping farmers. Okay, I say farmers because I work for an agriculture company, but I need to remind myself that because of the code I am writing, farmers can enter their data more easily. They can have better access to their data. The consultants can have better access to their data. They can analyze it more quickly, because they used to do all the analysis through spreadsheets, and that got all like tangled up and and it just became awful because they had to write code for that, and they had to wait like 2 hours to get answers to their basic questions. Whereas now they can get answers in milliseconds. And this is what I need to remind myself of, because if I attach myself to that vision, to the farmers, to people that are feeding the people, I go to the grocery store and the stuff that is there is because farmers are able to grow it. If I can help them to become more efficient, if I can help them to make their business more financially stable, then it helps them because then they can feed their families and they can get out of debt. Like part of what the company I work for does is they help to get farmers out of debt and they help to make them profitable. And at the same time, they become more efficient so that, everybody has got food available, and that food, sometimes gets shipped to other parts of the world, because in Australia, we produce a lot of grain so that other people around the world can eat. And it's like, and look, let's be honest, there are, some problems in the world, but these are like, in terms of like food systems and stuff like that. However, I can play a huge part in helping make this system more efficient so that the farmers are able to get out of financial stress, and so that people are able to be fed all over the planet. And that is why I sit down and code at work. I'm not coding because my business partner is telling me, hey, a business partner, associate, whatever you want to call him. He's kind of my boss because he tells me like what to build. But anyway, that's beside the point. And I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, I need to build this because he wants me to build it. Oh, I need to reach this deadline because, he created this arbitrary deadline for me or whatever. No, I'm building it because I want to help people. And so if you are somebody that runs a company, make sure you are sharing that vision and you're not saying to them, oh, we need to get this done by this deadline. Let them know, like, if we can get this done by now, we're going to be able to serve so many more people. We're going to help enrich their lives in so many different ways. Like, that is what gets people fired up. And so anyway, the point that I want you to go away with at the end of this podcast is that it's super important to have a vision. If you feel like coding you feel dead when you code now, if you feel like you're getting really tired quickly when you code, if you're getting sick of coding, then you need to reconnect with the vision that you used to have when you first started coding. Or you need to reconnect with the reason why you're coding. And if you can't come up with a good reason, like if you're at a company and you don't like the company, you can't come up with a good reason to stay there, then frankly, I don't know if I can say this without getting sued. Okay, so this is not, feel like I should preface this with, this is not job advice, but in my opinion, if it were me, maybe I can say that. If it were me, I would quit a job like that. I would get out of there fast. Don't quit straight away. Maybe try and like line something else up first, work on your skills and find another job. But if you're not motivated to build for the company that you work for, and granted, I know a lot of you are like fathers and mothers, and you need to feed your children, and that's different. In that case, your vision can be to help your family. But I would still be looking for a job that gets you riled up, that gets your stomach in knots with excitement for what you're doing on the planet. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Have a vision, make it a strong one. And yeah, go build awesome things. And by the way, I really want to start finishing these podcasts with the tagline of there truly is nothing you can't build. So that's what I'll finish this podcast up with. So go to quasarcast.com/register, and remember, there truly is nothing you can't build. Bye for now.